And we have a fantastic presentation to kick us off by Jalissa Lopez. So I just realized this. People probably have called you J-Lo before, haven't they?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I figured that's not an original thought of mine. I'm sure people have probably said that before. So okay. Yeah, people have said to me hokey pokey. I'm like, that's really clever. I heard that when I was like literally 7 years old. So great one. All right, Miss Lopez, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for sharing our leadership moment today.
Good morning, everyone. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. So, okay. So today I will be talking about organization and procrastination, how they connect with each other, and what we can do about that. So, why is organization important? There are many different ways, but here are the 4 that I found to be the most important, in my opinion. So first, organization prevents unnecessary headaches. No one likes having headaches, you know. Sometimes life just gets out of control and we feel like we don't have control over many things because life is unpredictable, and that can cause a lot of headaches when we feel like our life is a mess. I know we've all been there before. Also, organization helps you get tasks done and not procrastinate. Notice how I capitalize not, because procrastination is everyone's worst and best friend, and we'll talk about that later. Organization allows you to get more things done throughout the day. Who doesn't like being productive, right? And also, it helps you create a more balanced life. Now, raise your hand if you've ever procrastinated. You could either use the raise your hand feature or, put a thumbs up with the reaction button. And I'll give you guys a few more seconds and then we can move on. Now, if you didn't raise your hand, you just played yourself. Why? Because everyone procrastinates. Absolutely everyone. Every single person that you know, famous, not famous, successful, not successful, everyone procrastinates at least once every week, you know? So, why do people procrastinate? There are many reasons. For one, there's the fear of failing the task at hand. Now, I know this is something that definitely relates to me because there are a lot of things that I've put off just because I fear that I won't do well at the end. I have a few examples. For example, like Kachun's labs are definitely something. Not knowing where to start. When you don't know what it is that you're supposed to do, or when or how you're supposed to do it, that tends to, kind of throw people off and make it so that they procrastinate. Another reason, having too much to do at once because you procrastinate. The irony in that, right? You procrastinate because you procrastinate. And then also the lack of organization. So authenticity requires self-awareness. Self-awareness requires reflection. I'd like you to take a few moments to personally reflect on why you procrastinate. Maybe you've never thought of this, maybe you have. And feel free, if you want, to write in the chat as well why you procrastinate, or, reasons why you put things off. Because it's really important to kind of be aware of those things. Now, here are some of my tips on organization. For one, there's creating a to-do list. Now, to-do lists are not effective for everyone. They work for people who really like hands-on things, but again, they're not really for everyone. This example of a to-do list right here is definitely one that I've written before, but it's not really effective at all. My next tip is to eat the biggest frog, something that we have all heard before. Get the biggest task done. That way you can lift that weight off your shoulder and everything becomes easier after that. Get yourself an agenda and make yourself a specific daily routine. Again, life is unpredictable, but if you do create a daily routine, it makes it easier for you to organize certain things. This is my favorite one, which is why it has a star next to it. And it's to choose one day of the week to just declutter everything, whether that's cleaning your workspace, cleaning your closet, cleaning your house, whatever the case may be. It's really important to kind of declutter all of the things that are, creating a mess. That way you can start off the next week fresh. And I do this all the time. For me, that day of the week is usually Saturday or Sunday. And then finally, set reminders digitally if you're not really much into like writing. But a fun fact is that when you write things down, you tend to remember them more often. So maybe that can help you guys if that's something that you struggle with, remembering to do things. And I'm not going to show the video just for the, just for time, but I will leave the link to this video that I found very, very helpful in the chat in case you guys want to watch it to get more tips. I'll do that after the presentation. But yeah, thank you for your time. That was my presentation on organization. If anybody
Excellent.
wants to come off mute to share their self-awareness from like the slide before, feel free to do so. And if you have any questions, I'm right here.
Great. Let's give Jaleesa a round of applause virtually. Loved the visuals, by the way. Look how nice this slide is. I'm feeling healthier just looking at it. I love the colors. So if you have a question for Jaleesa or a comment, feel free to raise your hand, put in the chat box, and we'll utilize the next 5 minutes or so for questions on organization, time management, procrastination, all of those things. I have one for you, Jaleesa. Have you ever utilized like a reward system for yourself? Like if I do Kachun's Lab, then I'm gonna go buy myself a Starbucks coffee or something like that. Have you ever tried that? Has that worked for you?
Personally, I have, but it doesn't work for me just because I'm definitely the type of person that I'm just very lazy. I get too comfortable. So if I do that, like if I reward myself, if I finish Kachun's Lab, I get to watch YouTube for another hour. But then that hour turns to I don't really have like that that ability to like stop myself when I do reward myself, if that makes
Right.
sense. That's
Sure.
something that doesn't really work for me.
Understood. Yeah, I know everyone's different, so I was just curious how you were wired. Awesome. Thanks. David, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Jalissa, great job on the presentation. So you mentioned how it's bad to procrastinate. Are there any moments where it's good to procrastinate?
Wow, that's a really, really great question. I think yes. I think there are times when we overwork ourselves and when we like get burnt out. I know we've talked about this before during program, and sometimes it's okay to put things off because if you're not in the mood or if you're not in the like mentally in the workplace, especially now since we're like quarantined and everything is pretty much being done from home, it's best to know when you feel like working and kind of have that balance between working from home. And I think there are definitely times when it's completely fine to procrastinate. So I would say yes.
Totally agree. Thanks so much.
Awesome. We have time for one or two more questions if anyone has one. And I have a follow-up to what you just said, Jalissa. I think that you brought up an interesting point. Like, since we're all working from home, we're all quarantining, like our personal and our professional lives are, they're very blurry right now. Like, when do you find personally is like the times when you're most productive? Like, are you really productive in the morning, the afternoons, the evenings, or does it just depend on the day for you and like your workflow?
I find I'm most productive definitely during the night for
Mhm.
some reason. So I always start my deliverables at around like 7, and then after that, like that's from 7 to 11. I think that those are my most productive times.
Wow, that's interesting. I'd be curious to kind of hear from our group. How about give us a green check if you say, the mornings are the most productive, a red X if you would say the evenings are the most productive. And then if you're the afternoon, just put in the comment afternoon, most productive. Most people are mornings or evenings. So Jalissa is the opposite of myself. I'm like she said, 7 to 11. She's most productive. I'm actually most productive at 7 to 11 as well, but actually in the morning, 7 to 11 a.m. I'm very productive, but I should go to bed about 9:30. So I'm already asleep by the time you're getting work done. So oh wow, we should have a lot of night owls in our group. So Amadul, Ashley Gavin, yeah, Mahmood, Usman, Muhammad is both. Well, just Christian. Well, you guys are just show offs, I guess. All right. Anybody say the afternoon? It's actually kind of rare. People will say like, I'm productive from like 1 to 5. It's not very common. So I think it's really important to know, like, yeah, what you said, which is a really good point, Jalissa. When are you at your best? When can you do your best work and save your time for that? Right. So for me, like if I have to do a big project, I'm not going to do that at 4 p.m. on like a Friday because I'm already going to be like my brain's done. I'm going to do it on like a Tuesday morning at like 10:30 after this class. So cool. Well, that was a fabulous presentation. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your time putting that together for us, and a really important skill when we all agree for the workforce as we enter into it here in a month. How y'all feeling? Why did I just say y'all? I never said y'all in my entire life. I just said for the first time. How are you guys feeling? Feeling ready to go? Samaja, nice tree, by the way. Love it. So cool. All right, so let's do this. I want to utilize our time today. I know it's been 2+ weeks since any of us have been together. I know how we all are. I know you, even though I wish that we would have spent every waking hour of our break doing Excel spreadsheets. The reality is we probably did not. So we probably are a little bit rusty. So what I want to do is I want to spend our class time today, and today is actually a double blessing because Eric Palmer is going to share another leadership moment at the end of class. He was supposed to share yesterday, but we of course had to cancel. So we get 2 leadership moments today. But in the middle of that, I just want to do a refresher on what we discussed so far in advanced Excel. So please go ahead, open up a workbook, a blank workbook on your computer. I need everybody to do this because I will be calling on you, possibly cold, to explain what we're doing. And we're actually going to go ahead together, and some of you have already done the deliverable, so you're already ahead of the curve. But we're going to work through the deliverable together, which let me go ahead and show you mine, which when it's all said and done should look as pretty as this one. All right, so for those of you who did it already and submitted it and realized, oh, mine's not nearly as pretty as that one, then you can resubmit it if you need to. But we're going to spend some time today working on it. So go ahead and get your blank workbook. And we're going to start with the real basics. All right, if you want to follow along, you can actually go to Schoology, 2 courses. Go to my course, Unit 2, Formatting and Charts, Deliverables, and this is the submit ticketing exercise. That way you can hear me share it, but you can also read it yourself. So thank you again for your patience today. I woke up Wednesday morning of last week with a really high fever and been managing it with Tylenol and ibuprofen and all that good stuff. And I went to the ER at Columbia Hospital on Sunday night. And it turns out I have mono, which I don't know if you've ever had mono before. It is like really not awesome. So, and there's nothing that you can really do about it. Just take Tylenol and ibuprofen and just try to rest as much as you can. So that's why I am not feeling 100% today, but I'm glad to be with you all to talk through this lesson. All right, so in cell A1, go ahead and copy and paste it too. Type ticketing report in large and format so it's readable without clicking on it. So we're going to start very easy. Guys, 30 seconds to do that. It shouldn't take much longer than that. All right, let's go ahead and ask Mr. Pablo. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm all right.
Yeah? Are you able to share your screen and show us how you did the first task?
Yeah, you said just to write ticketing report on cell 1, correct?
Yep, and then enlarge it and so that it's able to be read.
Was that fine, or do I have to make it bigger?
No, click on the cell A1 for me. Now, how did you make it so that you were able to read it? It doesn't bleed into the cell B. Can you explain how you did that?
No.
Well, like go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead and type in cell like D1, type in ticketing report again. All right, now press enter. All right, there you go. So all right, what I want you to do is this. Go back to cell A1. Now click in between cell A and B up top, above that. Go ahead, double click right now there. Boom, boom. Look what you just did. See what we just did there? You see how everything expanded underneath that? Hit the back button, do that one more time, Pablo. So as you can see, ticketing report's bleeding into cell A and B, but when he double clicks there, now it widens every single cell. So for those of you who are not sure how to do that, that's a really good thing that you learned in the videos that you watched on LinkedIn. And that's a really easy way to format, so making sure it's not bleeding over. So you can delete the one in cell D. Thanks, Pablo. You can stop sharing your screen. All right, that's the easy one. Let's see, let's keep going. All right. In cell A2, using cell validation, the drop-down menu, create a team of 4 names of your choosing. Copy that drop-down menu from cell to cell A10, and then choose random names to populate column A. I'll give you guys 2 minutes for this one because this one's a little more complex. It should be copied from cell A2 to A10. 4 random names of people that are going to be on your team using the drop-down menu, not just typing their names out. I'm going to give you 15 more seconds.
So it's A2 through A10, Eric, not A2 copy to A10?
You should have that that data validation of those team members' names down from A2 down to A10, all of them. Yes. So A2, A3, A4, all the way down to A10. All right, Amadul, I know that you're really good at this, so not to put any pressure on, but do you mind showing us how you did it? You there, Amadul, or is it not a good time to?
Yeah, I'm here, Eric.
Okay.
Sorry.
Are you able to share out, or is it a lot of background noise right now?
Yeah, I can share it right now.
Okay, perfect.
But I wasn't able to do the second part.
Okay, you can just show us the first part, and then we'll talk through the second part together.
Okay.
Can you explain to us how you did this?
Okay, sure. So you said to name 4 people, right?
Mhm.
So these are the 4 people that are named. And then what you do is you select, you said to put the menu at A2. So this is the menu, drop down list. And what you do is you select after you write the names down, you select the cell you want to put your list in. And then you go to data. And then you go to data validation. And here it's going to be different. It's going to be any value for the first time that you see. You're going to choose list. And after the list, it's going to ask for source. So for the source, you have to select all the names that you want on the list. And then you just press OK, and you should get this list.
Exactly. And do you know how to copy that that all the way down to 8? There's a very easy way to do. Are you familiar with that one?
Not really, no.
No, it's okay. So what I want you to do is in the corner of A2, go ahead and get that little black cross. So at the bottom, yep, there you go. And then just drag down to A10. All right, now go ahead and click on one of those cells for me. And now you see how that drop-down menu is still there.
Yep.
All right. So that's an easy way to do that. Yes, Rahul, you have a question on this part?
Yeah, Eric, hey, Amadou, how did you get the names over in the column E?
In column where?
Column G, sorry.
Oh, I just put it in a random column. You can just put
okay.
it in but put it in like in the column instead of a row.
And then it shows up in the dropdown.
It'll show after you go to data, and then data validation. You have to select list for it to show on the
okay.
on the cell, and then the source.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
So, all right, Amadul, completely your call. You can say no if you want to. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings. But I think some people are asking to do it again. Are you able to delete what you have and repeat what you just did? Is that possible? If not, I can ask somebody else to do it, or I can do it.
I'll try.
No, there is no try. You're going to do it because you know you're good at this. So delete that. All right. So as you can see, Amadul's screen is basically what your screen looks like right now. So data validation. So go ahead. How'd you do it?
Okay, so first you just need 4 names.
Yep.
I'll do it again, same thing. Okay, so after you have your names, you wanted to do an A2, right? Well, I
Mhm.
already have it.
You already, why don't you just do in B2 because that's, yeah, that cell is
Yeah.
already, you know. All right,
Okay, so yeah,
go ahead.
so you want to put it in B2 this time. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna select that cell and then go to data. I'm already there. And then you look for data validation. You click on it, and then you see how it says any value. You want to click on the drop down and then choose list because you want a list, right? And then it will ask you for a source. So for the source, you just select. Oh, let's see, it's not letting me. 1 second.
And just for clarity, for those of you who are using a Europe machine, just let me know in the chat box if you have data validation, because I want to make sure that you're able to do this as well.
There's another way to do it in the source. You can just put the names and then put a comma between each one. That uses the same thing.
In
Oh,
the
thank you.
source. Okay.
Yeah, Mahmoud, thank you. That's how I do it as well. So you could right now write Ben, Haley, Ben, comma, Haley, comma, Jana, comma, Jinx, comma, and I'll do the same thing as grabbing the data, whatever is easier. You know, if you have, 500 pieces of data, then it's one thing, right? But if you just have 4, like we do here, that might be easier. So whatever you want. All right, so there we go.
I don't know if that works, but
Let's see.
yeah, no.
Nope, it didn't work. So why don't we just do it the other way, like what Mahmoud just suggested? That's probably easier.
Sure.
So delete that and then just type in the names. So Ben, comma.
Yeah, there you go.
So, all right. Thank you so much, Amadou. We appreciate that. That's a really good feature to know how to use in Excel, the drop-down menu, and very simple as well. So I hope that explains that. All right. You already did this once, so it's the same thing as the first step. Cell B1, type time allotted, enlarge and format so it's readable without clicking on it. All right, Tiana Ferguson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you show us your screen and show us your worksheet so far?
The third one, cell B1.
Yep, B1, time allotted, enlarge, and format it so it's readable.
I didn't do it yet.
All right, we'll give you a second. Yes, Pablo.
I just had a question. So from the last exercise that we did, if you delete the names, does it also delete the list when you put it back?
It would, yes.
Drop down?
If you did the way that Amador showed the first time, to my knowledge, if you deleted those names, then yes, it would end up deleting them from the drop down. But just give that a try. I do it the way Mahmoud shared, where you just write the names out. We have to give it a try. All right, yep, you're welcome. For the sake of time, I'll just go ahead and share how I do it. So here's my screen. So I wrote time allotted. Of course, you double click. I already did mine. One other cool trick that you probably have learned in the video is, let's just say, go ahead and close all these up. Right, this doesn't look so nice. This doesn't look very good. What I can do is I can grab this up here, top left of the workbook, and I just do it one time, and it does it for all of them. Do you see what I just did there? Do it again. So if I just do it like this, that just does it for column B. a double click there, right? But if I could go up here, now I have the whole entire workbook grabbed, or highlighted rather. Now I go here, click it. Now watch column A and then watch column C. They're both going to expand. You see? It's a cool little trick. So that's the way you can do that if you type something that doesn't fit into a cell. All right, so next step, very easy. Then we're got another complicated one. In cell B2 to B9, type random numbers from 1 to 90. Let's go ahead and do that quick. Or that's technically B10, excuse me. Chelsea's still stuck on the second step. Okay, we'll come back to you. By the way, we have 2 excellent Excel mavens this week. Everyone give a round of applause for the great and amazing Jalissa and Manny. Woohoo. So they'll be helping out throughout the rest of this week for folks that are getting stuck on different things. But go ahead, cell B2 to B9, random numbers from 1 to 90, because this is going to be time that was spent on the tickets. Yes, David.
Yeah, so I'm trying to enter a number for B2 and it's giving me an error.
Did you already put something in that cell?
Yeah, it was for the list. Am I not supposed to have that there?
Yeah, the list is supposed to be in column A.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Did you say from B2 to B10?
Yep, B2 to B10, random numbers 1 through 90.
Okay.
All right. Now, in cell C1, type goal met. You've already done this already twice, so you don't need a whole lot of time for this one. All right, so what we're going to do now, if you remember from, I'm going to put you on mute, Dave. I think you're still off mute. What we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and put you into a breakout room because we're going to do the if function. If you guys recall that from our very first week of Excel. So in cell C2, using the if function, enter the formula that will show approve for any ticket under 30 minutes. 30 minutes or under, and examine for any ticket 31 minutes or more. So imagine, you're working at an IT help desk, you're looking at this data, you have to see, oh wow, some of these tickets are taking longer than 30 minutes. Our goal is 30 minutes. Which ones are they? I'm going to go ahead and examine them. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to go ahead and work on that with your team. If you knock that out really quickly, that's great. Go into Schoology and keep working your way down the list, and let's see who can get the furthest along. Any questions on what you're doing for this next part, the if function? All right, so you're looking for which one of my times was 30 minutes or less, which one of my times were 30 minutes or more. 30 minutes or less, approved, that's our goal. 30 minutes or more, examine, that is not our goal. All right, off you go.
Oh, Eric, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
For the numbers B2 to B10, they have to be random, all of them?
Yeah. I mean, you can just put any numbers between like 1 and 90, but just random. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but try to have some lower than 30, some higher than 30. So it's actually, interesting to look at.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Also, I found out what was the problem with the drop down. So you had to click on the source, then it will allow you to select it. That's what I forgot.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, Excel has all these like amazing tools.
Yeah.
But then if you don't do it exactly perfect, just like all technology, right? It doesn't work. All right, we'll give everybody a minute to get back. All right, it looks like room 3 was particularly stacked with some Excel scholars. So let's hear from either Andre, Luis, Usman, or Rahul. Can one of you please, 4 gentlemen, share your screen and show us how you do the if function to examine or approve the ticket times over or under 30 minutes? Who wants to take it away?
I can share my screen. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna have to join the call real quick from my laptop.
All right.
Sorry, 1 more second. Almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'm joining right now.
So funny story over the break. I have a 7-year-old nephew and he's doing school by Zoom. And I sat with him, and helped him with his 1 day of school. And every single student in his class was on camera. Just want to put that out there for any of you who don't go on camera. Every single 7-year-old was on camera, but one of the little girls was sitting there in her bathrobe. I said, "Yeah, you would definitely get an infraction for that Europe. No bathrobes allowed."
Hey, Eric, it's Hannah. My friend is actually a teacher for 3K, and like she was explaining how like she almost has to like really beg the parents to put them on camera because sometimes the parents aren't watching, and you're the person that's watching them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty wild. And then of course, me being the uncle I am, I had to introduce my 7-year-old nephew Joey to all the different reaction features. So the whole entire class, he's doing this the whole entire time. And I'm sure his teacher loved that. So that's what uncles do, right? They get their nephews in trouble. All right, Rahul, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Eric, for the little anecdote. So I'm struggling with step 2. Here's my drop-down menu. I'll go back to that later. But as far as the if function, I did if parentheses. You got to be careful with the parentheses. That always messes me up. It's going to be 2 parentheses in the beginning. B2 is less than or equal to 30. Then the value of true is going to be approved and the value of false is going to be examined. So I just copied it and pasted it along the rest of this. And then it came out. These were my random numbers. And if you copy and paste, usually it automatically chooses the next row for you. So you don't have to change that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So what you can see here is like, look at cell B7 on Rahul's sheet, 15. So 15 minutes. So it's approved. And then look at cell B6 above it, 39 minutes, that's examined. So you can see on his sheet, that's the formula he used. I have this one right here. I put it into the chat box. Similar. One thing that you actually did right, which I'm glad that you that you did. I actually did it wrong. You did it right. I didn't include the equal sign. So if we're saying if a ticket is 30 minutes, equal to 30 minutes, then it's an approved ticket. So 30 minutes or greater than or less than is approved. 31 minutes or more is examined. So.
Can I ask while I'm here, how do I
Yeah.
copy the drop down all the way through?
Sure. Go ahead. Bottom right of that of cell B2.
Mhm.
You're gonna see a little black cross. It's gonna populate. Go ahead and click the. Yeah, you gotta click on this. Click on cell B2. I'm sorry, A2. A2. I'm sorry. Yes. Yep. There's a black cross. Go down and just drag.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. You got it. That should do it. All right. Okay. All right, we're doing well. We got about 10 more minutes. Thanks all for hanging in there. I just wanted to make sure that we were refreshed before we got to you know, the new content later on this week. I'm actually going to skip over the sort function for now. The last step I want you to do is I want you to freeze the first column. Oops. So go ahead and freeze the first column. Keep in mind that I do have office hours today. If you want to come and talk through this in more detail, I'm more than happy to. So first column, that's column A. We talked about this last week. Yeah, Christian, I saw your comment. So my logical test is B2. If it's greater than 30, then that's true. Then I want to examine it. If it's false, then I want to, oh, I did it back. I did it to go back and look at that. But mine came out well.
Did you do that function for if B2 is greater than 30? So that means examine is the true option now instead of approve?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So I did it that way. Thanks, Hannah, for catching that. Because mine came out the right way. Let me go ahead and share what mine looks like on mine. You see, like, look, here's my report. So I just did it backwards because, you know, why make it easy on myself? So there's my logical test. B5 is greater than 30. Examine, not, then proof. I just did it backwards. Rahul did it the right way. But as you can see, all mine are right. Okay. Let's see here. Mohammed, can you show us how you freeze the first pane in column A?
Sure, yeah. Didn't even do it, but can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So go to home. The first thing you gotta do is view, and then freeze column. Oops. This is a column, right?
Yeah, the column, freeze the first column. Yeah, you have it right there, just like that. So now go ahead before you click out of this, Mohammed, go down to the bottom of your screen, like where you can, yeah, like click where you can click over and show how your, how when you click to the right, your column A stays. That's what you should have done if you did it right. So click like towards the right. Yeah, see, keep going. Just keep clicking right as much as you want. Now you're going up and down. I need you to go to the right.
So it's not free there.
Yeah. You see how column A is staying? No, column A is staying. Keep going to the right. Yeah. See, look. See how it keeps going. L, M, and keep going to the right. Don't go down. There's no reason to go down. There's no data here, so we don't care what's happening here. You see how that's happening?
Yeah,
check that out. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Column A stood still. Everything else is continuing to move. So freeze first column, a really good feature to know how to utilize in Excel. All right, so like I said, I have office hours today. If you guys got tripped up, thank you, Mohammed, on any area. I'm happy to chat through that into more detail. Let's do this. Let's take like a 3-minute break. Stretch your legs. I'm gonna go get some more time off for myself. Come back at 10, and then we're gonna hear from Eric Palmer on the important topic of breaking stereotypes. So looking forward to that. So come back in 3 minutes. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody. I know that was a very short break, but we only have a few minutes left in class, and I want to make sure we utilized the time for Eric Palmer to share his leadership moment. So as I'm sure you know at this point in our working relationship, I'm the type of person that when I recognize good behavior, I want to acknowledge it. Oh, by the way, we got Keith Roseborough with us, the amazing Keith. So thank you so much, Keith, for joining us. That's Eric's coach. He came to show some support, and appreciate you. And Eric, so what he actually did is he emailed me and said, "I'm so sorry you're sick. Just so you know, I'm still willing to share my presentation on a makeup day if you want to." So he was supposed to go yesterday, and then he stepped up and said, "No, I'll share like on a different day." Whereas I think most people probably would have been like, "I'm not going to say anything because I got out of this situation." But he stepped up and said, "No, I'm still willing to share." And I'm glad, because I think this is a very important topic and worth some time. So Eric, when you're ready, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Eric. Today, class, I'm going to speak to you guys about breaking stereotypes. What is stereotyping? It is a mistaken idea or belief many people have about a thing or group that is based upon how they look on the outside, which may be untrue or only partly true. Stereotyping people is a type of prejudged prejudice, because what is on the outside is a small part of who a person is. Why do we create stereotypes? We may focus on the relations among different groups in a social structure. Psychologists say stereotypes are the result of conflict, poor parenting, and inadequate mental and emotional development. The next slide, racial stereotyping. Okay, so this one, a great deal of attention has been paid to the rates at which police officers kill minorities, which we all went through a whole crisis dividing blacks and whites. In the US, police shoot and kill black people at 2.5 times the rate at which they kill white people, and the disparity between Latinos and whites is nearly as high, about 1.8 times more frequent. So the next slide is about stereotyping women. New research ideas. One reason women might be shying away from certain professions, they lack confidence in their ability to compete in fields that men are stereotypically believed to perform more strongly in, such as science, math, and technology, and also mostly sports wise as well. You know, there has been times where men would be like, oh, she's a woman, so she's not as strong. That's not the case. Women can also do things that men can do, like such as construction, sports. There's examples like Serena Williams. She does tennis. If any of y'all don't know, Nicki Minaj, she's like one of the first female rappers out there that started in the game of rap. There's plenty of stuff that women have done that comes up to the talent. And even when they have talent and are actually told they are high achievers in these subjects, women are more likely than men to shrug off the praise and lowball their own abilities. This is the type of stuff that would give women the not don't have self-confidence, and they would lower it to their expectations when it's higher than their competitors, really. The next slide is talking about tips to avoiding stereotyping. Be diverse. Just because one person does a thing that, like, say if like what can I say? Like, say if like a black person was to play basketball, or only black people play basketball, oh, they're the only ones that are athletic. That's not the case. It doesn't mean all her/his gender or race does that only. Honor multiple perspectives. Always honor people's viewpoints, representations, and roles. And the next one is create a welcoming environment. Always welcome whoever in your environment. It could be black, white, Asian, Russian, girl, or boy. Always come to conclusion that, like, not because one person you always see one person does one thing doesn't mean like anybody else could do it. Like, anybody could do things that you think that Asian could only do, or a white person could only do, or just any gender or race. Is always diverse in this world. And thank you. That is my presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. We appreciate that. Appreciate your presentation. Can you do me a favor? Go back to your previous slide, Eric, and I want to hear in the chat box, type in your comments. How this whole topic's on breaking stereotypes. So, like, how do you make sure that those 3 areas are in your life? You know, being a diverse, honoring multiple perspectives, creating a welcoming environment. Because what Eric said is spot on. We all have our stereotypes. We look at people every single day and we make snap decisions about who they are or what they can do, what they can't do, whether we mean to or not. Here's an interesting piece of psychology. Only 2% of our thoughts every single day are conscious thoughts. 98% are unconscious. So that means, like, when you get on the subway and you see that, you know, that guy who looks kind of unsafe, you know, you're like, do I want to sit next to him? He looks kind of sketchy. Well, why does he look sketchy? Like, what about him is that? And is that woman over there holding a baby? Is she safe because she's holding a baby? So, like, just little things like that. So I'll just be curious to hear in the comment section what are some ways that you can help, you know, avoid stereotyping people in your life? What's been helpful for you as you've learned and grown in this area? And as you go ahead and do that, are there any questions for Eric about his presentation or anything you'd like him to explain a little bit more in our last 5 minutes together? You can go ahead and raise your hand and I can call on you and Eric, be happy to answer. Yes, Manny, it looks like you have a question.
Yes, Eric. First and foremost, good job on really informal. But my question to you is, what is the difference between microaggressions and stereotype?
You said microaggression. What I believe that microaggression meaning is like what Eric said from before, like you feel hostile. Am I right? Or can you clarify that for me? So, like, a stereotype is saying like saying white people can't dance. All right, that's a stereotype. All right. I mean, it's a funny one. We can laugh about it, but it's like, well, that's not true. There are white people who can dance. There's people who are Black and Hispanic and Asian who cannot dance. So the stereotype is saying like your character, this one thing about you is how all people like you are. All right, it's casting everybody with a broad brush. A microaggression is when you say or do something that is subtle and it's an attack on somebody, but it's not aggressive. It's like something like, I'm going to walk past the secretary and not say hi to her because she's not important to me. She can't do anything for me, but the CEO of the company can, so I'm going to say hi to him or her. That's an example of a microaggression. I'm going to ignore the secretary because he or she, what are they going to do for me? I'm going to say hi to the VPs because they can do something for me. That's an example of microaggression. Stereotype is, I'm judging every single person in this demographic based on one person's behavior, right? And a microaggression is, I'm treating you differently because I'm already stereotyping you based on your race, your religion, your height, your weight, you know, how attractive I find you or don't find you, the way you're dressed, the way you talk. I mean, fill in the blank, where you live. And I'm going to treat you differently because of that. That's an example of a microaggression. What did you learn about microaggressions, Manny? Did you learn that here at Europe?
Yeah, it was in Europe, and I kind of had
cool.
like a small idea until it was more clarified at a small class that Rachel had gave. So I have more understanding of it, but
yeah,
I was kind of, you know, when it came to when Eric was doing like about stereotype and microaggression, so I was like,
sure.
But,
yeah, these are all big. These are all it can be confusing, definitely, but that's good at discussing that. Microaggressions are really important to learn about. Yeah, Keith, I see your hand. You're on mute, Keith.
Thank you, Eric. Sorry. Just wanted to say great job to Eric Palmer. I really loved what you shared today. It's definitely important, like given everything that transpired last year, that this year we take the steps and inform people and really start doing the work towards fixing things and turning things around. So to start the year off with this and like hearing tips to avoid stereotyping and how can you identify, what can you do to like not do it, it's super helpful. And I appreciate you for that. And Manny, I just want to also say good point to bring up microaggressions and like stereotyping and how it works hand in hand, because microaggressions is definitely something I love to talk about because it comes in so many forms that sometimes you don't even notice it's a microaggression. So and it goes hand in hand with stereotyping. Like sometimes someone can say something like, oh, when I look at you, I don't see color. And it's like, I'm an African American, like all of my body is color. How you don't see color when you look at me, right? So it's like, that's the microaggression. So like really understanding what it is and the forms that it takes on is super important. So good, I'm just loving this whole conversation and the themes that are coming out of this conversation. So great job, Eric, and great follow-up question, Manny. I love it. And please excuse me that I'm not on camera right now. Had a lot happening this morning, but I'm loving this. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Keith, for being our special guest. And yeah, I would love to stay and chat more, but looks like we're at time. So thank you all for being a part of today's class. Please make sure you sort the names in your sheet. That's the last thing you need to do for the deliverable that's due tonight. Submit that before midnight. Once again, I have office hours today if you need me. Thank you, Eric Palmer. Thank you, Jalissa, for sharing leadership moments today. Have a wonderful rest of the day and see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Feel better, Eric.
All right, before you log off,
Thank you, Eric.
So we skipped part of that. We skipped part of the Excel sheet. Did you want us to skip it to when we give it in as well?
I'd like you to try to complete that part if you're able to. The sorting, yes.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Eric, thank you. Feel better.
Thank you.
Eric, I have a quick question.
Sure.
So you had emailed me and I about yesterday the fact that we couldn't meet. Are we gonna meet still today at 11:45 or?
Yeah, that's the plan if that works for you.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
Yep, I'll see you then.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Ashley. Have a great rest of the day.